InterSystem, and others. So let me first call up Mr. Leslie Minkus. Welcome, sir. If you could state your name and address. I think you've been here, you know the lights.
Thank you, sir. My name is Leslie Minkus. I'm a resident of Chandler for the past 11 years. I am a military veteran, and I'm an active member of the Citizens Police Academy Association of Chandler for the past 5 years. My address is 3372 East Gemini Court, Chandler, Arizona, 85249. By the way, there's something else about my white hair that I'd like to add, and that is that comes with experience and wisdom. And with that, I want to add that I admire the fact that the city is looking to do something to be able to help the homeless. I think that certainly veterans and seniors and people that are in need of that would be very important. But my argument is against the city of Chandler applying for or accepting any funds from the federal government or the state agencies for any homeless programs in the city of Chandler that may require the housing of or care for any individual that may be categorized or identified as an illegal alien, foreign or domestic terrorist, or convicted felon. There's petitions that we have out in the community, which we will continue to do until this upcoming primary election, in order to be able to notify the citizens that the potential for this funding from the federal government or the state government would also have some provisions in there that could apply to those categories of people. We, the citizens, taxpayers, and constituents of Chandler, Arizona, do not approve of the city of Chandler applying for federal or state county funding for homeless programs or the HUD rental assistance in resolution number 5604 that could result in requirements to shelter or house bussed-in illegal aliens, terrorists, or convicted felons in the Chandler neighborhoods. Citizens should have the right and the opportunity to decide via referendum how our tax dollars are to be spent. Studies should be conducted and reported to the public to determine the impact that these homeless programs have on the health and safety of the city. The city of Chandler is experiencing a police staffing shortage, increase in crime, and neglected neighborhoods. Programs for the homeless may not be enhancing the health and safety of our community, but rather doing the opposite. Chandler residents and legal voters want our city officials, the mayor, council members, to be transparent and responsive to the public on these issues. The evidence is irrefutable that accepting money from the federal or state agencies come with specific rules and requirements to which the city adheres, which was specifically told to me by Mr. Wright, the city manager.
Finish your comments.
Okay. My final comment is that Joe Biden and DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas are drafting plans to send busloads of migrants to U.S. towns hours away from the border.
Thank you, Mr. Minkus. Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Mrs. Ruth Jones. Mrs. Jones, if you please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes for your presentation, comments, etc.
Ruth Jones, 2734 East Birchwood Place. I spoke about this issue on Monday, and I want to come before you tonight one more time to make a plea that you change your mind on this position. I brought with me a video that I'm going to let play while I talk. It is a video of what the cost of homelessness is to our city. On Monday night during staff presentation, they brought up the fact that this project will help the homeless, among others. We do want to help those that are in need, but the first people we need to help are the citizens who live here, and we need to look at all our options instead of declaring that there's only one. It is important for us to know that the people who live in our city pay taxes and work hard and want a good place to live. Everybody wants that. But we have been doing programs with the federal government now in our city for a long time. Most of our homeless programs include federal funding. Instead of that helping the homeless, it has actually done the opposite. This year, our homeless population has risen by 76%. That is more than double any other city in the state of Arizona. If we continue to take federal dollars, it will not have the impact that you're hoping. It does not help our city. And tonight you stand here about to agree to write a blank check to HUD to be able to, without any limits, without any identifying markers, say we're going to enter into a contract with the government. Councilmember Stewart said it best on Monday night when he said that we need to untangle with the federal government. Entering into an agreement with HUD is doing exactly the opposite. It is important that we think about the impact not only on the people we're helping, but on the people who live here. On people, there are many people in this community whose homes are 50 years or older. They've been able to take care of them and keep them in good shape. The fact that the homes we own are in disrepair tells me that we have bigger problems than whether or not we can get more money from the federal government. There are options. There are other things that can be done besides the two choices that were given on Monday, which were pay $22 million to fix the problem that we created, that's what it is, or enter into an agreement with the federal government. I urge you to look for the other options. I urge you to find another way so that all the citizens of our community are cared for. The fact that we have homeless encampments next to preschools tells me that our problems will not be solved with federal money. And it is time for us to look for those solutions as a community and not just say, well, it's a blank check and they're going to help us get out of this hole. If it's a hole we created, we need to fix it. And it can be done. I am sure of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones.
Mayor.
And I would appreciate, I know some of those pictures are like the Costco has been cleaned up months ago, but if there's others that are
I took
currently,
pictures
excuse
in the
me,
last 90 days, all of them.
if some of those pictures are still relevant and there's trash, we would certainly love our neighborhoods to get those so that we could clean those up. And so if you're able to get that information to our community services, I would very much appreciate it. Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. Mr. Minkus, thanks for your presentation. And a few months ago, I talked with Aaliyah, the director of our neighborhood services, about that subject of undocumented migrants maybe soaking up some of our inventory. At that time, I think you were very clear that there were not any of those cases. Can I get an update from you on where that is today when you have time? And then Ms. Jones, thanks so much for your presentation. Just for clarification, my words about the federal government is about the printing of money on Monday night, not necessarily the entanglement, but I understand your point, but just for clarification. But thank you very much, Mayor.
Council, no other comments, no other speaker cards. Motion would be in order. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Yes.
Mayor, I motion that we accept the consent agenda for tonight, the 14th of July, from number 1 to 30.
All right, we've got a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Councilmember Harris. Council, any recusals or any comments before we vote? Seeing none, please vote.
Councilmember Lopez. Councilmember Lopez. He's with us still. Councilmember. Motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you. Next on our agenda tonight is